All right, relax. I know you see the title, you see the thumbnail, you're like, yo, Punch, you must be crazy. What the hell are you talking about? That Canelo Alvarez is the B-side to Bud Crawford? That Bud is the A-side? You must be drinking, must be drowning on that moonshine you be drinking, Punch Drunk Boxing. You must be drunk out your mind. What are you talking about? Relax, my friends. Let me explain. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, that Turki Alalshikh is very close friends with Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford is the favorite fighter of Turki Alalshikh. The reason why we get in this matchup, as we all know, is Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford, September 13th, out there in Raider Stadium, is because this is the pipe dream, the wet dream, the fantasy fight of Turki Alalshikh, a.k.a. the ATM of the sport of boxing, a.k.a. the Banco Popular, a.k.a. Wells Fargo, a.k.a. Chase, a.k.a. Aladdin. He's doing wonderful things in the sport of boxing. A couple of hiccups here and there, but he's done a wonderful thing for the most part. Canelo Alvarez has been the A-side for the most part of his career, has been the A-side of the sport of boxing, the face of boxing, the 4-division world champion, super middleweight undisputed, King Nelo, a.k.a. Cartelo, a.k.a. Cash Nelo, a.k.a. Payday, a.k.a. Get the F out of here, man, if you don't believe it, but Canelo Alvarez has been that guy. He's been that guy. And the A-side is the fighter that has the power going into that fight. Not just only the guy that's making the most money, that's got the guy that got the higher purse. It's the guy that comes with power. And as much y'all may not want to believe it or accept it, Bud Crawford got the machine behind him. Turki Alalshikh is the machine. Let's not forget what he said 4 months ago in an interview with ESPN and Mike Coppinger, when he's talking about Bud Crawford and why he likes this fight and why he made this fight come through fruition. Just listen to the words.
And I said to Canelo in front of him, I will not choose anyone. But from inside me, I like Crawford, you understand me? His close friends and
his close friends and
you hear him, right? He's already siding with Bud Crawford, right? Let's also not forget what Turki Alalshikh said this evening, what tweeted this evening, right? American boxing legend Crawford arrives in Riyadh. Friday's conference in Riyadh on Netflix for the strongest boxer for the last decade in the world against Canelo. The strongest boxer in the world? You telling me that Canelo Alvarez has been the face of boxing, hold boxing down, the resume speak for itself, the accomplishments speak for itself, and the strongest guy has been Crawford and not Canelo? And not Canelo? I extend my sincere thanks to His Highest, the Crown Prince. May God protect him for the great support for us in the Saudi Boxing Federation in Riyadh season and in the GEA. The kingdom is now the tough number in boxing on the global level. Also, let's not forget how Turki Alalshikh actually felt about Canelo Alvarez before he started partnering up with Canelo Alvarez. Remember what happened when Canelo Alvarez was going to be fighting Edgar Berlanga. And Turki Alalshikh was working with Dana White. Dana White's going to be the promoter of this fight as well. The same entity, the same power structure that tried to sabotage Canelo Alvarez and his fight with Edgar Berlanga, in which Turki Alalshikh was in the sphere supporting the UFC, putting boxing in the back burner, trying to cloud and trying to sabotage Canelo Alvarez, the face of boxing and the most lucrative day in the sport of boxing. Let's not forget that Canelo Alvarez pumps money into the sport of boxing more than any other fighter in North America, right? To get in the way of Canelo Alvarez that day, you already know nobody touches that Canelo Alvarez date. Nobody. But Turki Alalshikh felt the need to send a message to Canelo Alvarez. Let's not forget how he truly felt about Canelo Alvarez before partnering up with him. Let's not forget about this tweet. I heard what Canelo Alvarez said, that he respects me, but doesn't like the way we do business. As for him respecting me, it doesn't matter to me if he does or not. As for the way I do business, I know why he doesn't like it, because I only target big fights at the fair prices. So, of course, anyone who likes easy fights won't like that. even know that Turki Al-Sheikh did put Canelo Alvarez versus what? William Skull. Who the hell was William Skull? Not even Canelo Alvarez wanted to fight William Skull. As a matter of fact, Canelo Alvarez thought so less about William Skull that he was willing to drop his undisputed crown to fight Edgar Berlanga, right? But let's keep on reading. Easy fight won't like that. And I know how he feels after losing to Bivol, throwing shots, digs at Canelo Alvarez. So he's been looking for easier fights ever since. Also, I'm not the one who's afraid of fighting Benavidez or Crawford. Canelo Alvarez being afraid of fighting Crawford? So he's already siding with Crawford a long time ago. Canelo afraid of Crawford? A welterweight? He's willing to shame Canelo with Crawford. Nobody's been asking for that fight. Let's be real, let's be honest. Nobody's been asking for Canelo Alvarez versus Bud Crawford. That's Turkey's Al-Sheikh fantasy fight. But nobody asked for that fight. We asked for Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. This Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, that's in my opinion, look, I'm glad they're getting their money, but that's a glorified mismatch in my opinion. But anyway, let's keep on reading. Therefore, I knew he was wasting our time and making excuses with big amounts of money that can be paid. So I'm continuing my way to make big fights that serve the boxing world. And he's on his way to making easy show only fights. Well, that easy fight was the William Skull fight. As a matter of fact, if I was Turki Al-Sheikh, I would have let Canelo Alvarez fight Jake Paul, because if he knew that he was going to have Canelo Alvarez inevitably to fight Crawford in September, I would have let Canelo work with Netflix, get that big, and bring some new casuals into the game, and then that fight with Bud Crawford still would have been a fight. And it probably would have been a more high-profile fight, because you're letting new fans and the casual fans that all do follow Jake Paul notice who Canelo Alvarez is. But he tried to sabotage that. We all know that probably would have been the most viewed and the highest selling, probably one of the highest selling gates in the history of the sport of boxing if Canelo Alvarez would have fought Jake Paul. So probably he knew that he would have never had the record with that, because it never would have been big. I don't think they would have sold more with Crawford and Canelo. Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez would have sold more. But anyway, still, it would have done a good service for this upcoming event if he would have fought Jake Paul and garner all those eyeballs. Crawford did not have a fight in between, you know what I'm saying, his Mazurov. As we all know, Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, let's be real, let's be honest, had their worst performance heading into this fight. This fight has no momentum. All they got riding on is their legacy and their names. But Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull was probably the worst fight in Canelo Alvarez's career, in his elite career. The same thing with Terence Bud Crawford versus Mazurov. That was one of the worst performances of Bud Crawford in his elite career. So both of these guys had their worst performance, and now they're trying to pump this and have all these millions on top of millions in marketing and advertising to convince the people that this is actually a great fight, which is not a great fight. Is a glorified mismatch, and it is what it is. But of course, people like the skills and talent of Bud Crawford, like myself, and the skills and talent of Canelo Alvarez, right? Is a dream matchup. Is we're selling perception, not the real thing. But anyway, Bud Crawford did not fight after the Mazurov fight because Turki Al-Sheikh rather keep him on ice, because let's be honest, Bud Crawford performance versus Mazurov actually fogged up the potential fight with Canelo Alvarez, and Turki Al-Sheikh did not want Bud Crawford to fumble the bag that he has in place for this fight that he's been wanting to see for quite some time. Let's not forget that after the Mazurov fight, Turki Al-Sheikh had a post-fight interview, and he was talking about the potential fight with Bud Crawford and Virgil Ortiz. Now that, Turki Al-Sheikh, that's a realistic fight. I would love to see a Virgil Ortiz versus Bud Crawford in the co-main event of Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez in the Allegiant Stadium. Now that's boxing. That's moving into the right direction. That is boxing right there. You know what I'm saying? And those are passing of the torch fight that if Virgil Ortiz would have beaten Bud Crawford like he beat Mazurov, right? Because Virgil Ortiz did beat Mazurov better than Bud Crawford beat Mazurov, and arguably you could have gave that fight also to Mazurov. It could have been a draw. It could have gone either way, 115, 113, just winning by a round. David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez, the most asked fight and the most potential and the most anticipating fight in the sport of boxing. That right there is what we wanted and we've been begging for. He noticed the performance of Bud Crawford and said, you know what, stand on ice. You ain't gonna fight nobody. Because if Bud Crawford in the 154-pound division, the landmine division is what I call it, struggle with Madrimov, what the hell you think is gonna happen with Canelo Alvarez? Huh? And look, I understand that the betting odds is trying to put this as 50-50. This ain't a 50-50 fight. This is a way to market and advertise the fight as this is a 50-50 fight. There is no way in hell that this is a 50-50 fight and the betting odds. When did you see that? What did Bud Crawford do to come close to making this a 50-50 fight? Was it a Madrimov fight? Was it his inactivity? Was it his age? Is it moving two division up? This is all. Now I know, you know what I'm saying, that this is all a facade. Even the betting odds. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, you know, in the betting odds, it should be the underdog, the favorite, and corruption. And I wish I could bet on corruption. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think that something something may happen. Canelo Alvarez is in trouble. He is not the A side. He don't have the power. Bud Crawford has the machine behind him, which makes him the A side in this fight. Now, yeah, Canelo Alvarez is going to have the fans. Canelo Alvarez is going to have the money. But Canelo Alvarez is not going to have the power. He's not going to have the power. We've seen the excellency going around in the Carlos Adames fight and Shiraz going around the ring and stuff like that. Looking at the judges. What is the judge? What is the score right now? Shiraz, hurry up. Don't let this Dominican bastard win. I'm not going to let it happen, but I want to see you prove it at a fight. But Crawford has the machine, has the promotional machine, the entity that tried to fog the fight of Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga. Canelo Alvarez, Turkey is not your friend. The machine is against Canelo Alvarez. And for the first time, the machine is against Canelo Alvarez ever since the Mayweather fight. But Crawford is the A side to this fight. And I know most of y'all can't come to grips with it. You're going to say, well, Bud Crawford never sold this. He never packed an arena, even in Omaha like Canelo and all of that. The machine is behind Bud Crawford. And let's not forget the little snackety snack as well. The time away, the time. Oh, he's big and he's strong. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Okay. Why September 13th? Mark my words. Mark my words. Something drastic is going to happen. And I don't think that is going to happen in the ring. Hey, maybe people may feel is like, hey, what goes around comes around. 118, 110 car versus Triple G. I don't know. But hey, it seems like Canelo Alvarez sold out for the money maybe. Gave up his career, gave up his power. Let me tell you like this. One of the biggest mistakes that, I'm going to tell you like this. What Canelo Alvarez did, no powerful entity does. When you empower any entity, whether it's a group, whether it's a nation, whether it's a person, whether it's a king, you don't give up power. Canelo Alvarez gave up power for the bag. He gave up power, which gave in his career, and he put his career in the hands of Turki Alalshikh, because we all know when Canelo Alvarez is in control of his career, he wouldn't dare step in the ring with a William Skull. The Mexican rights, what happened to all of that? Canelo Alvarez was making power moves, but money is the root of all evil. And guess what? We all know the saying, all money ain't good money.